Moving on to Resilient, which owns a portfolio of regional malls, shopping centres, which are tenanted predominantly by national retailers.
Yes, so there's a group of companies on our market which are loosely coordinated and related. Des de Beer is the guy who runs this, but you'll see Resilient, Capital Properties, some of the foreign ones like Nepi and Rockcastle, all part of the same family of investors. Tremendous growth track record. They basically went into all of these secondary towns and cities like, Imalahleni and Kroonstad and so on, and built malls at the fringes of the town, which totally decimated the old high street, but it gives these national retailers that we know and love, like Woolies and ShopRite and so on, an opportunity to grow into these secondary markets.
So does the retail focus change the game for Resilient? Market cap here, 45.4 billion rand, and trades on a yield of 3.3. Does it change the game?
Yes, retail has been by far the best growth sector now for probably more than 10 years. A-grade office, or now it's called P-grade or premium grade office, that does well, but anything below A-grade, B-grade, and especially C-grade, if you own a portfolio of those, you've got 10, 12, 15, 20% vacancies, whereas on the retail, you've got 2-3% vacancies. So it's been by far the best area. And as Paul said, they've gone to the smaller towns. And in the smaller towns, if you're the biggest dog, you dominate, and you can virtually write your own leases because you're the only player in town. So that's been a very good strategy.
And this is something that Paul and I often debate. Is the retail story that exciting going forward, given the consumer in South Africa?
It's actually a good question. When you look at, let's call it second-tier centres or smaller towns, they have been boosted over the last 10 or 15 years massively by government grants. The growth rate up until last year in government grants was 20-25% a year, because so many more people were coming on. Whereas now, all the people are on, and the growth rate's 5-6%. So the spending power is still there, but the growth rate is significantly less. Then we all know about rising interest rates in South Africa, fairly high debt levels, the poor commodity cycle, virtually no job creation. In fact, there'll probably be job retrenchment. And a lot of these smaller towns are more mining and commodity related, because that's why they're there. So the outlook, while not disastrous or catastrophic, is certainly not good.
Let's look at Resilient's performance.
Been quite resilient in the face
of...
And there's
the retail story coming to fruition and propping this one up.
Yeah. But, I mean, is this correct? Because some of the best and most successful parts of their portfolio have been places like the Highveld Mall, which is outside Imalahleni, which is all about coal and power generation, and then the Brits area, where they have a substantial Rustenburg, that area, and that's also not going so well out there. But the major retailers have been happy to go into there. I just want to ask Wayne one question about the link to sales. When these guys build these malls and they get someone like a Woolworths in there, do they typically have turnover-related rental clauses?
Yes.
So that is both a positive and a negative, right?
That's the true boost.
Unpack that a little more.
So in other words, they say, you pay me 100 Rand a square metre, but if your turnover is above 100,000 Rand per square metre per month, I take 2% of that excess, not of the total, of the excess.
Is there protection on the downside?
No, that can go to zero in poor times. The rental, they still pay the 100 Rand rental,
exactly.
but the turnover clause will go to zero quickly.
But that doesn't seem to be reflected any kind of concern coming through here at
and
this
of course,
level.
this is because it's retail, it's got a very low yield, this one. It's a very low yield.
So that's 3.3%.
Been a great performance, so people have come for it and it's delivered. So it's probably got its own little fan club of shareholders that have propped it and kept it going. I'm going to go not hot on this one too, I'm afraid.
Hot or not?
Not hot.